New poll by the Israel Democracy Institute shows that more than half of the Israeli public is highly concerned that the new government here will have a negative effect both on Israel's international standing and on the civil status of Arabs in Israel in particular. Now, this month saw a fall in the level of optimism about the future of democratic rule in Israel and regarding the future of Israel's national security. That's somewhat scary to see that less than half of all respondents are optimistic about our ability to protect ourselves here. I mean, that's a national staple value. Now, going further, a full 60% of respondents gave Benjamin Netanyahu a grade of not good or terrible for his negotiated coalition deals, which gave some vast powers and positions of influence to what used to be some fringe political players on the right. And we're joined by Dr. Vromen, chairman of the Secular Forum, joining us from Tel Aviv. Ram, thanks for being with us. Look, on these survey results, are they just a reflection of a divided and, largely maybe disappointed electorate? Or given all the proposed reforms and the major changes, is there cause for concern here?
I think that, first of all, yes, we are divided. And it's very clear now that it's very similar to what we see in the U.S. There is almost nothing I can agree with half of the population, especially the religious and ultra-religious sectors. And we seculars have a very good reason to be concerned. And I think that this poll shows very well how the divide is crucial, because you're talking about the general results, but when you split the results between the secular crowd and the religious and ultra-religious crowds, you get a much more extreme diversity. I mean, there's a very big diversity between the two sectors. And our sector is concerned. It's concerned not only for the national security and other stuff, but also about whether we can continue our way of living in such a country.
Taking it further, digging into this, I mean, it was some 40% of Likud voters, I think, responded that they were unhappy with Netanyahu's coalition negotiating skills. 60% of those Likud, voters saying that the concessions went too far. I mean, they're sort of piling on to the unhappy Likud lawmakers we've heard from lately. Is this a damning survey for Netanyahu, therefore?
Well, I don't know about these Likud voters. I think that they brought it upon themselves, that they should have known that this would be the result. Everything was on the table. It was clear that no party from the center will go with Netanyahu. It was clear that he will be in the hands of the ultra-religious and the religious. I don't know what they should be surprised of. The ones that are, well, I wouldn't say surprised, but they're definitely concerned are those that didn't vote for this coalition and see this coalition as a threat on their way of life.
That's, exactly, I think the sector that you're representing here, roughly half the country, did not vote for this coalition. It also happens to be mostly the secular crowd that makes up the bulk of the high-tech industry, the economy that serves in the army, that pays taxes. Is there a bit of a reckoning to come if these reforms are pushed too hard? Or is this half of the electorate at this point powerless in this moment?
Well, it's not. We're not powerless at this moment. We're powerless for about 40 years already. And I think that the current coalition counts on the fact that we are so powerless, that we are a group of individuals that really doesn't know how to connect into and to create political power, because even the parties that are supposed to represent us are not really representing us, at least not in the way that you see that the ultra-religious and the religious parties represent their publics. And I'm one of those that are crying for 10 years now that this is going to happen, and that we have to be organized and we have to be prepared for such a moment, and we have to find the solutions on how to act from our new situation as a minority, a big minority, but still a minority that doesn't have a connection to the power and to government. And how can we protect ourselves? And I think that one of the things that is surprising in these 2 months is how many people suddenly understand what I'm trying to shout for 10 years, that we have to organize, that we have to protect ourselves, and that maybe the state is not the solution for us, but maybe we have to protect ourselves and create some kind of a minority community, a bit like what the religious and the ultra-religious are doing.
Dr. Vromen, eye-opening and interesting. Thanks for joining us here on this latest poll survey of what the country's thinking.